Number two. So I guess we should do this. Number two and number one. There were only two real options for these two spots, and I was pretty shocked here. But I guess we'll start. Number two was Bianca Belair. And number one was Syuri. So let's start with Bianca. So Bianca has kind of risen to a spot where she's like the John Cena of women, I feel like. I think she impresses in her big matches all the time. If they don't like, I think the ladder match they had was pretty much as they were going to do with Bayley's limitations physically at this point.
Right. Hey, you just came back from a really long absence from a knee injury that like probably indicates that like you had complications. Let's put you on a ladder.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, when there's a big show that's coming and there's a Bianca Belair match, chances are it's going to be well thought out, well put together, and she's going to display her talent, her athleticism, and just like a great entrance, like an overall great presentation in wrestling. That being said, she was not number one this year. And it's amazing that PWI 500 actually like kind of didn't just bow to WWE as they do in some cases. And, you look at Bianca's year, she had the belt taken off of her at the beginning of the market period and was being booked atrociously up until Elimination Chamber, Rumble. Maybe. Like, because I remember she got thrown out of a Rumble. Like,
but she did perform well in the Rumble, though, at least. Like, she actually looked like one of the people that could actually have won until Ronda came out and were like, oh, no, she's not winning.
Yeah. They were not letting her beat certain people at certain times. They were doing a lot of weird stuff with her, so that probably, like, dinged her a little bit. But ever since she's got the title, she's been, 100 miles and running, essentially, ever since then. Yeah. So, Bianca's excellent. So.
Like, much like how Tanya says, like, I used to make this joke about, like, who's going to be Brock Lesnar, put it on Asuka. Like, when Tanya says, like, put the belt on, have Roman drop it to Bianca, I'd be like, yeah, same feeling I had with Asuka. Like, if you're gonna like, they're that kind of like level where they're going to consistently be really good. They're over, they're believable, whatever else. Like, I know it's never going to happen, but like, you could do it. I would watch that match.
Number one though, with a bullet, and we came on this show in October 2021, and I think I just had like a breakdown of like just coming to my senses on how great Syuri was. I was like, I think we just declared her like the best women's wrestler in the world.
Yeah, that's when she like after the Grand Prix, not after that 925 show when she has the match with Takumi at a 20-minute time limit that I gave 4 3/4, and then she goes and has the match in the final like 25-30 minutes later with Momo. That's at least 4.5, might be 4 3/4. Is like with a 30-minute break in between. It's like, yeah, like Mayu was the best women's wrestler in the world from like the summer 2019 until that point, and then that's when like the crown just got taken off her and it's Syuri's. It is what it is. And like you can even argue that like if you want to like go through the run in the Grand Prix in general, she was in the process of taking it, but like that was the period on the sentence when she took it from Mayu, in my opinion. And like she's been running with ever since, and she's been great. Like she's been one of the very best wrestlers in the world. Like by the end of this year, like she's going to finish top 5 in most outstanding and wrestler of the year for the Observer again, more likely than not. In back-to-back years, I don't know how many women have ever done that. Might be Manami Toyota. So then when you throw in the, it's a kayfabe list, of course. Quality of matches and quality opponents beating is a part of that. Like you have Tommy, she's beat Julia, she beat Mayu, she beat Tam, all people that are way up on the list. Well, Julia's not as high because the off time she had or whatever else, but like Tam's top 30, I believe Mayu's top 20-ish, I think. We're just Utami, I forgot where she is on the list, but like we're talking about the former red belt champion and she succeeded. Yeah. And then she, you also learn the part like during the evaluation period, she's always had a belt on her, but like at one point for a week or two, she had 3 belts on her. She had the SWA belt, she had the tag belt, and she had the red belt. Like, yeah, she's a triple champion at some point this year. And then, like, before she became the red belt champion, she was a double champion through at the first half of the year, the evaluation period. Like, or first third or whatever. Like, she's had an incredible evaluation period. Like,
she does not lose often. Like,
yeah, like she's been. I mean, outside of the Grand Prix, where they did some weird stuff with her to tell the story of she's struggling, but like, outside of that, I think she's been pinned in that evaluation period. Well, outside of the Grand Prix, has she been pinned? Outside of Grand Prix matches, I don't think she's been pinned.
So let's go through that red belt title reign that she's currently still on. There's 9 matches. Like, she wins it from Utami in a classic. I got the list right here. I'm gonna go through it. 36 minutes.
I was gonna do it off the top of my head. I was but okay.
just an incredible match. I think, like, for my money, the Stardom match of the year last year, not the one that was in the summer.
From June 12,
of
last year.
She follows that up, by going out there with a newcomer in Mirai. That people just did not want to say that match was awesome for some reason.
Yeah.
She goes back-to-back nights against Julia and then Mayu Iwatani. Beats them both.
The Julia and Syuri match is one of the 5 best matches in Stardom this year.
Yep. And then she follows that up by defeating Himeka.
Yep.
And then,
I gave that like 4.25. I gave the Mayu match like 4.5.
Yep. She defeats Risa Sera by TKO in a death match.
In a sprint death match that like was just incredible, and the only knock on you can give is like it should have went longer. I gave that 4.25.
They have a battle of kicks with Syuri and Momo Watanabe.
4.5.
Rematch of that final last year. She takes the next shot against Tam Nakano, defeats her just before the Grand Prix jumps off.
Another 4.5, 4 1/3 match. Yeah.
Yep. And then she goes over Nanai Takahashi, in a war. So like,
right.
So she's got it, man. Like, this wasn't.
And then I don't know when the cutoff was, but then you talk about her Grand Prix, like the opening weekend, she has a match with Azumi, and she has a match with Utami, and the match with Utami, I think, is the second best match of the Grand Prix.
Yeah. So,
like, it's only 2 matches I gave 4.5 in the whole entire Grand Prix. Like, a bunch of that stuff is like 4 1/3 that I knocked down to 4 1/4, and then like you have the final with Tam and Julia, and you have the Syuri Utami match.
Yes,
like, she killed it.
That being said,
at the end, the match with Tam, in the closing stretch of it, when Tam is like, when Syuri is like won the Grand Prix last year, and now she's facing elimination. She has to stave off a person that is like literally chasing her throughout the year, with her, and then she cuts her off and says like, if you want to get back to me, you got to go win this fucking tournament. It didn't happen, but that was the story. And like, literally, it was like, the story is either Tam or Julia has to win the Grand Prix to get to Syuri level, Shuri's god level. That's what it was. That was the story throughout this whole year.
Yeah, like,
she's just this. She's the mountaintop. I wouldn't say ace, but she is absolutely the mountain.
Like, I'm really glad they quote unquote got this right. I think this was big for Stardom. This was big for. I think there were a lot of people upset that Bianca was not number 1. To
Tough
those
shit.
people, I say,
Have you watched? No, just no.
Those people, I would say, please check out Syuri before you knock her down to lift up Bianca, because I don't think Bianca would appreciate that personally. If you think you're riding on Bianca Belair's behalf or WWE's behalf, I gotta say, man, like, Syuri is like, she's a once in a lifetime wrestler, I think. So,
we were talking about this when I found out about it late. Like, y'all were talking about it in the Largo Loop thread, and Josh was like, "Is this legit?" And I was like, I'll put it to you this way: put the list of the top 10 from the PWI 500. Syuri, I had her ranked like she should have been in that. I would have put her right between CM Punk and Hangman Page in the PWI 500 this year. And then like you were like, I would put her in front of Punk, and I was like, gut feeling, no, but I'm pretty sure I could be convinced to it, given that if you show me the evaluation dates, because Punk missed the beginning and the end of it. So yeah, but yeah, like this ain't just a very good for a woman participation trophy. No, this is one of the elite in the world, the whole entire world.
Yeah. Black Saber Jr. brings a great point. They saw Syuri at number 1 and immediately turned into Jim Cornette type racist. Yeah, it was bad on Twitter at a certain point. But yeah.
But look, I'm not going, like, if the clearest thing to show me that you have not watched Syuri is to say like Bianca Belair is better than her. I love Bianca. I think that like she's one of the few reasons why I even turn on the pay-per-views at this point. But no, it's a totally different level, and that's just how it's always been since we watched Stardom. Like the level is like the gap in difference between Stardom and WWE Women's Wrestling is not only is it larger, it has expanded, and like the gap has gotten bigger between like like when I used to watch New Japan and I would watch WWE pay-per-views and be like, this is a different level. Like it's only gotten larger since in the last 3-4 years or whatever.
Like, and they keep adding to and I think this is a testament to Rossi, and shout out to Red Leaf and also Alex LWO for they put out that Rossi Ogawa column for the Hall of Fame on Voice of Wrestling. So if you guys haven't checked,
I didn't know it was out yet. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it was a really great column. Learned a lot about Rossi that I didn't know otherwise. But yeah, if you guys maybe we can pop that link in the comment or something.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description too, so you can, for the podcast listeners. Yeah.
And what they've done, like in Stardom, to say all that is like there's like depth and there's waves of people coming. So
yep.
Like whenever Syuri decides to lay it down, like there's the Julia and Tam arc is like set to complete. Then like
yep.
There's Utami getting back to the title. Then there's like
the rest of the Golden Generation.
Right. Then like it's like Starlight Kid and Azumi are racing. Like, and it's like it's just,
I would throw a hand in with that too, because
yeah.
she's a year younger than 2 years younger than Azumi.
Yep. And then Sai Kamatani's there. So like they've just there's
yeah.
depth, and then these people are all working with each other and continually getting better and producing.
Yep.
There's not a lot of we gotta stick this sorry person out there for a month because we have them employed on
right.
the roster. So you gotta wrestle this person for like all the house shows in a month and waste your time essentially. There's none of that going on here.
Right. And even the quote unquote sorry wrestlers are good wrestlers, like Mina. Look, Mina in the Grand Prix, like I think that a lot of people are excited for what they see as improvement, that like this newcomer improvement that she's had. I think it is a change in game plan. I think technically she's been this good for about a year now, but like people are starting to see her like, and they're giving her that push to get her that title shot to get her into that, like Tam last year was like try to get her the Tam defense or championship run last year was like, let's go ahead and like get all these people their first defenses, because that's going to be actually the white belt division going forward. It's going to be Kamatani and Natsupoi and Starlight Kid and Unagi and Mina, and like you see, like it's going to be Starlight Kid is going to have that belt eventually. Natsupoi is going to have that belt eventually. Like you see where it's going. So like she's going to have some heartbreakers, and people are going to really want her to get that belt. I don't know if she's ever going to get it, but like I think that after seeing what she did on Red Row shows at the beginning of October with Kamatani, I think they're gonna have another great match. And like when she came to New York in the pre-show, like she was good. She was good. Her and Kylie were really good together. Like I wouldn't mind Kylie getting the tour in Stardom. Obviously, we already knew she was that talented. But like same for Kylie King. Like that match with Mayu was an easy 4.5-star deal. And like bring her in, give her a tour, give her 3 months, and give her a title shot at some point. But yeah, so like the waves, as you mentioned, like yeah, it's a real thing. Like there ain't too many scrubs in Stardom.
Yeah. So like, and this is like I just think it's the toughest competition, like amongst women's wrestlers. And then you just look at the rest of that list, and there's Stardom's like well represented all throughout this. There's some Tokyo Joe